And then I think we also talked about how the voices could also be the voices of the second and first world as well, remnants of that as well, which
Yeah.
would be a very interesting thing. Why they're able to hear these things, because they are connected to the second world and the first world.
The inconvenient remnants, that has to be the D clan members. It has to.
Yeah, and I would say it would make sense that they can hear the wills of other people, because remember they one thing I love that White does something. It's One Piece is so good, bro. When Blackbeard meets Luffy at Jai, he literally said dreams never die. So like think about their dreams being transferred through time with the voice of all things, showing their will is still. One Piece is so good, bro.
Yeah, that shit is fire.
One Piece, because that One Piece is going nuts. So it's going crazy. It's going stupid. A little One Piece talk before we wrap up today's podcast episode. Unfortunately, Miles was not on our One Piece live because me and Ty was talking about it, because this chapter in particular was so freaking interesting. There was so much lore that was dropped. Like, me and Ty spent a couple of times talking about that lore for the three worlds and dissecting that mural. Honestly, I'm gonna bring it back up. I'm gonna bring up that mural. I'm gonna bring up that panel real quick because
Also, I got questions for Miles, because I want to see if my theories are right or if I'm on the right track. So my first one was, so when Shamrock says he came back, but then he was in love with the world, so he left. Shanks came back. So what I was thinking was it in between the time that he left Roger's Pirates and chapter 1? Because doesn't he have like that sword that resembles a Holy Knight sword in chapter 1?
He does.
And to me that would make sense, because he has it at the very beginning. Like that's the only time, which to me would make me question, was that really Shanks at Reverie? Like, we think it's him, then we think, oh well, it could be Shamrock, but also he did say he returned, but no, it was actually Shamrock.
We
It's
in the same boat.
so I'm like, whoa, because he did have it in chapter 1, which means because that's the only way he would. I think he probably went back to get I don't know what he was doing, but he got the sword, and then on his way back he got the gum fruit. Then he was in East Blue, and now he's chapter 1 starts. That's when I think it happened.
Yeah, especially when the stuff you said about the double misdirection, I'm all the way with you. Because I don't know, I feel like he hyped up that moment, showing us when he showed it, just for it to be as simple as, oh, it's a twin brother that everybody theorized for this long. I think we might see it flip on its head again. I don't think Shanks is bad or anything like that. I do think that he wants to, live with everybody else, but I do think that I don't know how to describe it. He has a very different motive than what everybody thinks it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like the relationship may not be as like I don't think toxic is the best word, but I do think there might be a level of more respect than we assume from like Fergalan and Shanks. And even when Shamrock was talking about him, it didn't seem like he hated Shanks when he was talking about it.
Seemed like he thought he was a fool almost.
Yeah,
it's like he thought he was just nasty.
Yeah, like he just wants to live with filth, so I don't really fuck with that guy.
Yeah, he doesn't like his choices, but it doesn't seem like he has like this visceral towards him. Especially, you would assume so, considering he's an emperor. He's like one of the most notorious pirates in the world. But no, he's in that world, and I don't know why. That's just all he said. Really.
Makes me wonder, because we still have that mystery about what Roger told Shanks. Now, I don't know if Shanks would be the type of character that would cry because he found out he was from Holy Knight lineage. Yeah. I don't know if he would, but to me, let's just say for some conversation he did, that would, if Roger, maybe that specific thing did make him cry, but let's say part of the conversation was his lineage, it would make sense then why he would return for whatever reason, maybe to do something, I don't know, but that's what I was thinking. I definitely went to chapter 1. Like, did he have the sword in chapter 1? He did.
He did.
Now, which I thought was crazy. Then also I love the tie-in, the conversation he had with Whitebeard. He was like, "Your face makes my scar ache," which means, and we see that Garling was at God Valley when Whitebeard, so he was the one that scarred him, which I think is also super. It's just it's so many little things. Like wow, this chapter did a lot. There was one more thing that I had a question about. I had to think about it. When I can go ahead, I gotta think. There was another question I had though.
So me and Ty talked about the chapter in the One Piece live. I don't know if Lonnie, if you're caught up, but Miles, Lonnie, what do y'all think about the chapter?
I thought everything. I thought it was pretty cool. We got to see the first time we got to see a weapon with a devil fruit in a very very long time. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was cool. The mythical zone, that was fire. But bro, what's that last page? Whoa,
Oh,
whoa, whoa,
Miles,
whoa, 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 whoa.
I have one more theory.
Sure.
Well, so do you think that celestial dragons put devil fruits in weapons to avoid the no swimming like drawback?
Yes, and I think that's because they know why it's like that, or they have more
Right.
knowledge of devil fruits than everybody else, and that's why they do it
Yeah,
like.
that's what I was thinking. Like maybe that's one of the reasons. Um,
To expand upon that, because we were talking about it on the live, I wouldn't be surprised if all the God Knights have a weapon of the Devil Fruit. But actually, never mind. I take that back. I took it back last time because Gunko has the Devil Fruit. So I'm gonna take that back. But I wouldn't be surprised if more people have Devil Fruits with
The
weapons.
reason why I wouldn't maybe always apply that logic to say they all have a devil fruit with or a weapon with a devil fruit is because now that we're seeing what they're doing with Loki, we know that they recruit outside of Celestials. So Shamrock could perhaps have it. It would all add up. He's a Celestial. They know about the world sinking. They know about the devil fruit's weakness. So he would have the wherewithal to be like, all right, I'll put it on my sword. Whereas a Gunko, we don't know her background or anything like that. She could have eaten the fruit
hmm,
before she was a god knight. We don't really know.
that's true. I like that point. That's a good
Another
point.
thing we talked about is that someone in the chat actually said this. I think it was Lombo. Shamrock doesn't have a saint on his name compared to Garland.
Saint is only a Gorosei thing though. That's why.
Did he have a saint next to his name the first time we saw him, or is it just
Mm-mm.
okay?
It was just Garling Figerlin. He got
Oh,
the Saint when he was promoted.
promoted. Okay, fair enough. Um, Lonnie, are you caught up?
Yeah, prophecy thing I've been seeing all over social media. Everyone trying to decipher every little image. A lot of them make sense, but some of them I feel like are some stretches. So we'll see. But even if you get all the images, like you could kind of tell which one's probably Luffy, which one's Emu and stuff like that. But we still don't know how it all ties together. But it also kind of looked like Emu was coming back. So I'm excited for that because I feel like he's overhated and I feel like he's really slept on. Like we really
Oh, you're talking
having
about Enru, NL?
yeah, having lightning powers, I feel like is and especially in this verse, I feel like it's very underrated. Like people are like, yeah, he has lightning powers, but all these people are stronger than him. He's definitely when you're reading the manga, like you see like the cover photos, you see he's doing like his own little story arc or whatever. He's definitely gonna come back with hockey, probably conquerors hockey, probably whatever else. And I think he's gonna be cracked. I think he's gonna be like a top 15 terms of power character in the verse when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
I have one more thing. So, um, so you know how a big theme in One Piece outside of free, like a sub theme, is inherited will, and we
Sure.
know that it seems that there was a Joy Boy type of figure in every area, Unica, Joy Boy, Luffy, and we were trying to something me and my brother were talking about was that we're trying to determine is Emu. We know Emu's probably a lot older, but is Emu a character that did not pass on their will throughout these hundreds of years and tried to maintain? Because a big part of the One Piece is that you leave a legacy for the next generation to carry on. And you think that, and obviously, if Emu and Luffy are meant to be polar opposites in that way, it would make sense that over time, their will was never passed on. They're trying to control everything and not give to the next generation.
Yeah.
I was thinking that there could, what if there were just multiple different emus? Like there are different, like there's a new Joy Boy, but it makes it more that it's actually one because they never passed their will on. Like thematically, that would be such good contrast. I want to see what y'all thought about that.
I think it would be interesting if like the thought of there being multiple emus that would make sense. Even though like it sounded like earlier that like he like when they were talking about like the original Alabasta Queen or whatever. Like he like knew what they were talking
Yeah,
about. So
yeah.
like that Kyle would be like a little like, how did he know that? But no, I like the idea of like the exact polar opposites. How there's like a different version of that too. But then also is Blackbeard, because I feel like Blackbeard also is like the third cog in this whole situation.
He's such a like a wild card. Like,
Because I feel like he's involved in like the final encounter. I feel like it's going to be like a three-way
definitely.
situation.
Oh, for sure. No, I'm with you. No, I like the idea too. I think it makes a lot of sense. Especially since in the mural they refer to all these different gods, and we. No, Miles, I'll let you go. Go ahead.
Which one do you think Blackbeard is? I think he's the forest one. So
You
they
think
mentioned the different gods and they all have different roles. Now, I don't think the forest is as simple as saying it's like a forest style devil fruit, similar to how Nika is the sun god fruit, but it doesn't have much to do with fire. But what kind of captured me in that whole second world text, it says the forest god tamed demons. Whereas, so how I equate that is Blackbeard is going around collecting devil fruits, and he can have more than one. He's taming the devil.
Oh,
Oh,
that's very because me and Ty were talking about it. I feel like we deciphered the first.
While the
Right.
sun is spreading seeds of war, to me, those seeds of war may not be in a nefarious way, but Luffy is going around to all of these places and liberating them and uniting them under him, spreading the seeds of war. And then the sea god to me was Emu, the one that was allowed to rage on and storm because they ultimately won that conflict that's outlined in this second world. So that's just how I got the pieces together in my head. Now, the things that I
Oh,
don't understand are the half moon, the full moon, and then the sun itself, because the sun is separated from the sun god, to my understanding.
mm-hmm.
The sun as an actual item versus the
man,
sun
killed the
god, the
sun
person.
god.
You get what I'm
So
saying? They killed the sun.
I think that the moon is the Celestials because if Luffy is meant to bring about the dawn, the world is in a period of darkness. The moon covers the sun to create darkness, essentially. So I think that the Celestials would be the people creating the darkness until the sun rises and brings the dawn, which is Luffy. That's what I would think the moon is.
Yeah, and then the
I
half
think it's
moon
Celestial Dragons.
could
The
be like
half
the
moon, I
D
don't know.
clan. That is a suggestion. The half moon is the D clan, and we actually went back to
Hmm.
one of the chapter titles. I forget what chapter we went back to, and they brought up the half moon in one of the titles for one of the old chapters that that Oda was writing for One Piece. But yeah, I think the theory of the half moon being the D clan and then the moon being the Celestials is very interesting.
Oh, look at this last part. The last part says the remnants recall the promised day and hear the voice of the half moon. Which was like we said, the voice of all things, right? Wouldn't that be connected to the will of D?
Ah,
Yeah, so
yes,
the
Yeah,
voice half moon probably is the will of D, right? The
yeah.
voice of all things you connects, So like, I mean, low
yeah.
key.
I just remember that's what we literally brought that
Yeah,
up.
yeah, we did release. Yeah,
The voices of the voice of all things, and I mean that connects perfectly with the idea of like Roger being able to hear the voice of all things. And then I think we also talked about how the voices could also be the voices of the second and first world as well, remnants of that as well, which
yeah.
would be a very interesting thing. Why they're able to hear these things because they are connected to the second world and the first world.
The inconvenient remnants. That has to be the D clan members. It has to.
Yeah, and I would say it would make sense that they can hear the wills of other people because remember they one thing I love that White does something. It's One Piece is so good, bro. When Blackbeard meets Luffy at Jai, he literally said dreams never die. So like think about their dreams being transferred through time with the voice of all things, showing their will. One Piece is so good, bro.
Yeah, that shit is fire.
That, bro.
It's so freaking good, bro. It's one of the best things. Period.
I need to go. I'm gonna go back to the chapters with the voice of all things. I want to see what they said. Like, what did they? I gotta go back. I know that Roger heard it. I know Luffy heard it. I'm gonna see the exact thing they said because that would be a good thing if it is previous people fighting this fight still talking. Yeah, that's so tough, bro.
Yeah, after I finish Game of Thrones, which Ty lock in. So
Oh yeah. I was supposed
Where
to
you
watch.
at?
I'm on episode 4. I was supposed to watch it to yesterday, but I had a family emergency, so I couldn't really watch it with my sister. But She's
okay,
good.
if you
by the
can
way,
get
but-
to finish season 1, we can all start season 2 by like the next few weeks. And then after I catch up, finish Game of Thrones, catch up to Tower of God, I'm gonna reread One Piece. I'm gonna log back in. It's time for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I have to yeah. I was planning to read One Piece with some friends because yeah, it's just it's so much information.
You gonna
100%.
go back? The foreshadowing is nuts. It's just
It is.
It's so good. Also, yeah, the first world definitely sounded like the story of Icarus, of how Icarus brought fire to people and how Icarus got too close to the sun. That's what the first world kind of resembled to me. That story that he was trying to relate to. But it's interesting that you said the sea god was Emu, because initially I thought the earth god was Emu, but I think the sea god might make more sense.
You ever reset that Emu's name spelled backward means ocean.
Which is interesting. But did you? I saw a little theory TikTok clip saying that dragon is a sea god
Maybe.
because of his tattoos.
Hmm.
That connect to this right here. So the tattoos connect to the serpent because of the X's on the serpent, and people are trying to make that connection that his tattoo is resembling this serpent right here.
Hmm.
But it also seems like there's two factions. So it's like the sun god versus this god, and then this god versus this god. So I'm trying to see like what are they trying to do here, which is very interesting.
yeah. There's a lot happening.
There's a lot. And trying to figure out what all these characters mean. Hey man.
We know what that giant robot is right there.
Yeah, we seen him.
The whale, we all know.
I think that's Loki right there.
Yeah, the Loki. Hey, Labu is coming back. that's who we said.
It also looks like Loki's fighting with Luffy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The mermaid, I forgot her name. It's Shirahoshi. That's Shirahoshi.
These are the minks right here.
I saw a funny thing on X. They're like, "Yo, Oda didn't even forget the Tontada," and it's like a little small ass
right
person.
here. Yep. It's
Yeah.
right here. I think these are the celestial dragons because they're in like the astronaut suits.
Sure.
What do you think of that dragon thing up top?
Flying from up top.
Yo, this is so good. So when Luffy hears the voice of all things in Fishman Island, all those fishes are talking to the princess. She said that she couldn't do anything, basically the situation. And they said that no, you were guided by Straw Hat Boy's powerful desire and prayed. And, you know, people pray to the sun god. Yeah, this is fire, bro.
Also, I was gonna say, Miles, what do you think is the big creature all the way on the right? Because it's as big as Emu. So like,
I don't have the answer, Sway. I tried to only decipher what I could. Like I was for sure. I had like things to latch on to.
right.
I was mostly focused on the second and the third world. The first world, I don't know what the fuck is happening. The earth got raised and with its serpent of fire shrouded the world in death and darkness. I was just like, would that be something that happened before the Void Century? Like, it just confused me because how I interpreted it is the second world aspect of things was the Void Century.
Yeah.
The third world is now, and then the first world would have to be before.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I agree. It's probably the origins of all like devil fruits and everything.
Maybe.
To be honest. Yeah, shout out One Piece for being goated. Also, I don't know what they mean by they'll never meet, and they'll surely meet. I couldn't really figure out an explanation. Unless they're saying that I don't know. To be honest, I can't even theorize it. Hey man, Oda's gonna have people analyzing this for years until we find out what this means. But shout out One Piece. Goated. Also, new manga. Embers. New soccer manga on Shonen Jump.
Yeah, I read it.
Pretty solid. Pretty solid.
What did
you say, Lonnie?
I said I think it has potential.
I think it's cool so far. I'm with you. Sauce said I looked at that part as a biblical thing. How God said he wouldn't flood the earth again. In terms of they never meet. Now, with that said, this actually looks like Noah's Ark because it's an ark and then there's animals right here.
Well, we know that's actually a thing too. It's in Fishman Island.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
So yeah, it's for sure Noah's Ark. It Oda's crazy, bro. I don't know how he's gonna tie all of this into the whole flooding aspect though, because it has to all connect.
True. Okay.
Because it seems like the Celestials, this flooding thing to me seems like a prophesied event that was going to happen no matter what. Because the Celestials, even though they have all the power, they ascended into godhood. They still need to build higher and higher to stop the flooding. So I know a lot of people thought that Blackbeard's not the big bad, Emu is. Emu might not even be the big bad. You might be Emu, and there's another layer behind that too.
Man, you think there's gonna be like a legitimate god character?
I didn't want to think that One Piece was going to go down that route, but I think we might get biblical in this bitch. I think and I don't think it's going to be in a corny Neon Genesis type of way, but I do think that Luffy is going to kind of have to grapple with the origins of this world, in a sense.
But I think ultimately, like, I think it could be like that, but I think ultimately it's going to be a 3-person situation where technically all 3 sides are justified in their own way. Like Luffy's side is going to be justified, Blackbeard's side is going to be justified, and Emu's side is going to be justified as well.
I agree.
Interesting. Hey, One Piece cooking per usual. About to wrap things up. Also, the poll said 78% Brawny to LeBron is closer than Yamato is to first Hokage. So,
Amen.
yeah, that's tough.
It's that bad, random. It's that bad.
Amen.
That is crazy, bro.